Very good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Insights IAS Essay Perspectives. Today's topic is Mindful Manifesto is the catalyst to a tranquil self. So, this is a topic from UPSC Mains 2020 essay paper. This is the second topic. So, let us go ahead with the discussion and see how you can write 1000 to 1200 words essay for this topic. So once you have topic in front of you, what you must do is identify the keywords: mindful, manifesto, catalyst, tranquil, self. These are the keywords that are present in the topic. So their meaning and synonyms must be identified. In the real examination scenario, meaning when you are actually writing the examination, it may not be possible for you to search synonyms, but of course you can identify the meaning. However, when you are preparing at home, when you are actually trying to write this essay through some research, always do this exercise of finding synonyms to the keywords that are there in the essay topic. For example, mindful has different meanings: being aware of, being conscious of, alive to, awake to, alert to, you know, wise to, cognizant of, something like this. Then again, manifesto, the word will have different meanings. So basically, the actual meaning is a public declaration of policy and aims, especially one issued before an election by a political party or a candidate. So that is a larger meaning. However, it will have different synonyms like a program, declaration, proclamation, pronouncement, announcement, notification, strategic plan, something like this. Why these synonyms are important? Because you will avoid repeating the same word throughout the essay. You are writing 1200 plus words essay. Repeating the same word again and again will irritate the evaluator. Instead, try to find other words that have similar meaning and try to use them. So, like say 5 to 6 times you may use the same word, but don't repeat it throughout the essay. That represents lack of originality in terms of thinking, or it reflects lack of thinking itself. And then you have word like catalyst. You know what is catalyst? Something that facilitates something, an activity or an action. So activator, driver, energizer, executor, generator, impetus, incentive, even instigator, something, these are the different words. And then you have the word tranquil, peaceful, reposeful, calm, placid, pleasant, mild, relaxed, equanimous, dispassionate, unperturbed, unflappable, quiet, relaxing, calm. So these are the different words, right? These words, try to remember them. And in addition to these words, for any essay construction, you should have something called, uh, you know, connective and transition words. So words such as however, howsoever, furthermore, further, in addition to, nonetheless. So these words also you have a collection of them. They serve different purpose within paragraph, between paragraphs, and between arguments. So they bring natural flow. So this is it should be done before preparing for any essay. Have a list of words and try to consciously use them when you start writing your essay from the introduction itself. Once the meaning of keywords is available with you, once the synonyms is available, identify the meaning of the entire statement. So the meaning here is having mindfulness, practicing mindfulness will create a very peaceful life for oneself. So mindful manifesto is nothing but having a plan of action for practicing mindfulness through meditation or whatever techniques that are there as part of mindfulness. Then the context. So if you know the context, it is good. In the real exam, everyone will not know the context. If it is a quote, who gave the quote? If it is a title of a book, who is the author of the book? If it is a statement by a politician, or if it is a philosophy, if it is a proverb, idiom, everyone will not know it. But as I said in the early part of this discussion, it is better to identify the context for every topic that you are trying to write an essay. This topic is taken from a book written with the almost similar title. So the book basically tries to integrate or boasts of integrating latest scientific research on mindfulness with its historical context, and tries to explore how practicing meditation can help people cultivate mental well-being, work towards having better mental health, overcome depression, anxiety, coping up with the busy nature of one's everyday life, how to manage chronic pain, illness more effectively, and not only mental well-being, also physical well-being. So the book talks about all these things, how to improve one's behavior towards making oneself more calm, more composed, more equanimous. So uh, that is about the book. Somebody who has given topics to UPSC has taken this topic, and also this mindfulness has become a kind of a big uh, thing nowadays because of the increasing stress among everyone. So it has become a big business, and it has become a kind of a revolution as well. So it's an important topic, identifying that they have given the topic. So you can write the context if you know it in the introduction, or if you don't know, you don't have to mention about the book or mention about the author. So then try to identify its literal meaning that you have done in the beginning, and then figurative meaning, that is metaphorical meanings. Figurative meanings, you can attach a meaning, your own interpretation to the topic. So something like this we will see in the last slide of this topic. So then search for related quotes, books, anecdotes, stories, because the topic is philosophical in nature. You should pepper it with interesting stories, anecdotes, so that not to bore the reader. So this is an extremely important part. Spending half an hour, 1 hour, just to identify, search keywords, books on mindfulness, books on tranquility, uh, then stories about calmness, stories about mindfulness. So you will get some stories, maybe from epics, from mythology, from these moral stories, or from biographies. So have collection of them. You can use different stories in different context in this essay. For example, there are like few quotes here. Mindfulness is a way of befriending ourselves and our experience. To think in terms of either pessimism or optimism oversimplifies the truth. The problem is to see reality as it is. So something, the mindfulness is about seeing the reality as it is. It's about understanding our own self, befriending our own self. So meditation is not evasion, it's not escapism from the reality. It is a serene encounter with the reality. So different people have different takes on this. Meditation practice isn't about trying to throw ourselves away and become something better. It's about befriending who we are already. So meditation is about better understanding ourselves and befriending ourselves, rather than trying to become a better individual. You cannot control the results, only your actions. So don't worry about the outcome. We don't have control over the results outcomes, but we have control about our actions. So if we control our actions, we might control our outcome also, outcome of these actions. So these quotes are important because they give you different dimensions, perspectives to bring into your essay. You can talk about befriending oneself, so that is one dimension. You can talk about something about the nature of reality. You can talk about the nature of meditation and its larger purpose, and how it is linked to one's peaceful nature. Once you have identified meaning of keywords, meaning of the topic, and different dimensions, different meanings, you should start thinking about the larger perspectives that you want to bring into your essay. The purpose of thinking about different perspectives is to give the reader certain takeaways from your essay, and to let her know that you have some original thinking, and you you are analytical in nature, and you do not think linearly. So what is thinking linearly? Majority people, when they start writing essay, what they usually do is they gather 5 to 6 different examples, and then they just support the topic till the end, right? So mostly they do it. So in the end they might give suggestions how to achieve mindfulness and all. So but mostly they will say that agree with the topic and say that yes, mindful manifesto is the catalyst to a tranquil self. So they will give example of Buddha, they will give example of Vivekananda, they will give example of Mahatma Gandhi, they will give example of, if they know, some other individuals, Zen monks, other things. So they will give, if they know example of a leader, they will give that example, and they say that because of mindfulness, practice of mindfulness, these individuals have become, uh, uh, you know, peaceful, equanimous in nature. Uh, when I say not to mention Vivekananda, Buddha, it's not offensive. It is just that you need to score higher marks and other people will be writing similar things. So try to move away from what your competitors are writing in, majority of their answers and essays. The same example, obvious examples, and try to write something non-obvious. If at all, if you want to write something about Vivekananda, definitely write about him, but something which is a little known about Vivekananda. If you have read his books, if you have read about his whole life, autobiography or biography, or someone else's critical look at his life, so bring those things into your essay. So make it bit more original and in depth rather than making it very superficial. So now coming to perspectives. So these perspectives you will get by starting, uh, by asking questions like what, why, and how. So you can ask like why mindfulness is needed, why one should aspire to be a peaceful individual, a tranquil self, how it can be achieved, how it acts as a catalyst. So if you ask these questions, automatically you'll start getting different perspectives. So that is again within perspective, that is one dimension. Then when you have meaning of, when you know the meaning of the topic, so try to be critical. You can ask questions like, you know, uh, isn't mindfulness is unscientific? So what is the scientific basis for this? What is, isn't it, hasn't it become commercial in nature, a business in itself? Isn't, the technology or tech giants are uh, exploiting the whole game of mindfulness? And similarly, you start thinking of these perspectives, and they add an element of surprise, an element of originality to your essay. So as I said, asking questions like why and all. So why should one aim for tranquil self? So why not just go with the life, experience everything that comes as part of the life? So doesn't it mean escaping from the life is also about experiences, about opportunities. Why spend time trying to understand oneself, with what end? Like, is it just to become peaceful in nature, or is it to achieve a bigger goal in life? So it's something like this you can ask and try to find an answer. So what makes mindfulness a catalyst to a peaceful self? So what is the scientific basis? How mindfulness, being mindful by, mindfulness is being aware of oneself, practicing being, aware of oneself, living the present moment, understanding the present reality. So how it acts as a catalyst to a peaceful life. And again, so what do you mean by tranquil self? So different dimensions for the keyword itself. So is it staying away from everyone? Is it living in solitude? Is it running away from responsibilities? Like, is it living a life of renouncement, or you know like sages do, or is it going to Himalayas and indulging in meditation forever? So what is it? Peaceful life, is it not harming anyone, refraining oneself by being angry, uh, violent? So what is it? So that on this itself also you can write so many things. Then why and how mindfulness is important to a tranquil self? Like, how is it important to a tranquil self? So through what methods, to through what practices it is important to a tranquil self? So is it only through meditation, or is it through only reading books, or listening to lectures, following instructions in a mobile app? So how is it, that is like how it can be achieved, and how is it important? Okay, so to a tranquil self. So try to explore different aspects of these questions, and try to, if there is a counter argument for any argument, try to accommodate that also. You can say that mindfulness may not be important to a tranquil self. There is something beyond mindfulness also, which is important for a tranquil self or a peaceful self. So, what is that? Something beyond mindfulness. So, is it achieving one's goal? For example, for you, achieving IAS might give you, you may think that a peaceful life, peaceful self. So, a goal, achieving a goal, or it can be helping others. So if you think that if you can serve society to the fullest, so that can give you inner peace, that can give you a tranquil self. So there are other ways, something beyond mindfulness, so that also you can bring. So this is what this video is about, trying to think of new ideas and perspectives. So, what about real world experiences? Earlier, also I mentioned about mindfulness and meditation. So, should we move away from the real world, pains and sufferings? Shouldn't we accept it? So, don't you think that we become more wise by accepting and experiencing both pleasant and unpleasant experiences, so that are part of our life? Um, why only live in the present moment? Why not think about future? Why not worry about future? Why not plan for the future? So why not learn lesson from the past? And then inward focus versus outward focus. Why we shouldn't? Why the mindfulness is mostly about focusing inward? So why not focus outward? So as I said earlier, why not focus about changing the world? Why not focus about changing other people? Why not focus about reducing inequality, addressing important issues of the day? So why not derive our sense of satisfaction, self satisfaction, inner peace through other means, right? And then say in if somebody is suffering within, uh, due to their own problems, or their own thinking, their own depression, then mindfulness might work. What if the cause of suffering is because of economic, political, and social factors? So if a dictator is ruining your life, do you think mindfulness will help you? Right. So you may have to uh, participate in a larger revolution to oust the dictator, or that's a very big thing. Of course, one needs courage, one needs conviction, one needs awareness, knowledge, and resources to do all those things. But at a micro level also, uh, if your neighbor is giving you a problem, if he is making your life like a hell, do you think meditation will help you in creating a tranquility around you and tranquility within you? So these are some of the critical questions that should be there in this essay. And then, for whom does this whole mindfulness work? So do you think it will work for the oppressed or to the oppressor? So this mindfulness, if you see, it has become a fashion so among the wealthy people, right? Those who have resources, those who have access to these people who teach about mindfulness, the apps that talk about it, those who are prone to depression or stress or anxiety, anger, because they are unable to manage their wealth, or you know perpetuate their power, so they might want to find that peace. But what about a child who is dying of hunger? What about a woman who is raped, who is a victim of constant domestic abuse? So what about like refugees who are finding a place to live, you know survive? So what about them, right? So can it be universal, this whole mindful uh, manifesto and mindful meditation and all those things? So of course they might give one momentary relaxation from the pressures of life, but what about long term implications? So then everybody requires basic necessities, so what about them? So ask such question. However, the whole discussion, it doesn't mean that you have to go in the negative direction. So the discussion is trying to reach a point where it wants to prove that, so that there is something beyond mindfulness that is required to a tranquil self. So what about the commercialization of mindfulness? There are apps, there are courses, there are many things that are actually selling them as must needs of the day for everyone. For example, there is a app called, I think, Headspace. So, like in like it is a norm in so many commercial apps. So they give you for 10-day free trial. So 10 minutes you can meditate, use their app, and then after 10 days you have to pay around $10 every month to practice meditation using that app. So they say that practicing this will cure you from dementia, cure you from Alzheimer's, free you from depression, free you from anger, and makes your life better. So they sell all these ideas. So it is kind of commodification of one's pain, oneself itself. So they use the vulnerabilities to make profit. So they want to become a billionaire companies, unicorns, by feeding on the people's anxiety. So how will that make one tranquil? So they make people addicted to these apps, and once you get detached from these apps, can you bring that self discipline to practice this thing every day, right? So these are some of the critical questions one should be aware of. So then, what about scientific basis? So see, this essay is not just about mindfulness; it's about, is there scientific basis to being a tranquil self, to bring tranquility into one's life through mindfulness or through meditation? Of course, there is scientific basis, may not be very conclusive, So you can argue the in a pro manner. You can say that yes, of course, there is scientific basis. And what about physiological, psychological, social benefits of mindfulness? So these are the some of the arguments that you can bring. So while trying to sound critical, you should also talk about the positives. So that is being objective or trying to balance your essay, talking about both goods and bad of the topic that you are discussing. So as you move towards conclusion with various critical questions, so you can surprise, as I keep saying in the conclusion, something like the word manifesto immediately triggers thought about these manifestos released by political parties just before the election. So of course you shouldn't talk about political manifestos in the beginning. Otherwise, the evaluator might think that you haven't understood the topic. In the end, you can surprise something like this: a mindful political, social, economic manifesto is catalyst to tranquil nation. Uh, Self-satisfied, peaceful individuals will create better social capital, become better human resources, create better human capital. In turn, they contribute to development of the country, make it more peaceful. At the same time, a mindful manifesto, the literal meaning of manifesto, so in terms of social, political, economic, so which aims in bringing peace to every section through you know eradicating problems of hunger, houselessness, and unemployment, all those things, discrimination. So will act as catalyst in creating a tranquil nation itself, a nation that is uh, peaceful, that contributes to the world in a positive manner, sets an example, right? We are talking about, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris are talking about healing America nowadays, right? So they want to heal country. uh, you know what is the role of mindfulness in healing America? You can just ask a question. So don't bring India. India is a very peaceful country. There are no problems in India nowadays, right? uh, so I'm just being sarcastic. Shouldn't talk about communalism and all those things in this essay. Talk about American example. You can just say that uh, so a mindful Joe Biden can heal America to make it a peaceful nation on earth. So, uh, so these are just my thoughts. I'm sure, like, you read a lot, you think a lot, you can come up with better ideas, better examples, better dimensions, better perspectives. Try to accommodate them. The whole purpose of this argument is to, uh, you know, guide you to write a original essay, a better essay, not an essay that is very obvious for a reader. You should aim for 150 plus marks. So that starts with writing something original, which is relevant from beginning to end, relevant to the topic. So writing original is also not writing a very intellectual kind of essay, a very jargon filled essay. It's a simple essay written in simple language, but with powerful arguments, which a reader should remember even when they finish reading your essay. And that essay should distinguish itself from other essays written in the examination hall. So practice one essay every Sunday with 1 hour of research. After doing it for say 10-15 essays, stop doing research, start writing on your own, start thinking hard and uh, write the essay. After writing, you can analyze your essay and see where you can make improvements. So all the best. Thank you so much. Take care.